Hey guys, it's your girl Tara Crush back with another review, and this time it is for Clickbait on Netflix. That is Clickbait on Netflix. That is Clickbait on Netflix. Clickbait on Netflix. Okay, if you haven't already, please hit my subscribe button. If you don't want to subscribe, that's fine, but I want to thank you for just being here watching this video right now. I am reviewing Clickbait because it was requested by one of my viewers and by a lot of my Facebook friends. A lot of people have been talking about this series and how angry they were that they were wrong about who was the killer. So if you haven't seen the series Clickbait and you think you might want to, stop right now. I'm going to spoil the mess out of this series. It's going to be spoiled here. So if you have not seen it and you want to see it, stop this video, go watch the series. It's 8 episodes, and then come back and see me. And then finish watching this video, because I don't want you to be mad at me and say I ruined it, because I'm going to ruin it, okay? Okay, so this is for the people who have already watched it. This isn't like my other movie and series reviews. I'm actually spoiling things in this one. Okay, so this entire series is kind of like a whodunit, kind of like Clue. They give you so many, clues, and you have to figure out who did it. So what is the it? It is who kidnapped and murdered Nick Brewer. And who is Nick Brewer? Nick Brewer is the person who gets kidnapped and murdered. He's a physical therapist at a school. He's married with 2 children. He's a white man married to a black woman. Seems like a charming individual. Nick would be husband goals, so to speak. Just because of the way he reveres his wife and reveres his family, and the way, people look up to him. You want a man who's got integrity in the community as well, right? But does he have integrity in the community? Okay, so this whole series chronicles, him getting kidnapped and murdered, but then the people in his life and what they may have done to contribute to his murder. Okay, so the first one that they examine is his sister Pia. Pia is a wild child, and so the whole series opens up at their mother's birthday dinner, and apparently Pia's upset because he's been playing, kind of weird with her, not really keeping up the communication. They're like super tight, have been since they were kids, and now he's been treating her different. And it's not because of his marriage, because clearly he's been married for some years, but something's weird and she don't like it. And the final straw for her was they had agreed to do a group gift for their mother, and they changed the gift without telling her, and she was very upset about it, and she felt like it was his wife's fault. Why she didn't like her, I don't know. Maybe it's because she was very stiff. Yeah, she's a very stiff individual. I don't like the type of people. Take your shoes off. The OCD, I've got to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect. Everybody needs to see me as perfect. I don't need to show you my flaws. You don't need to see them. I need to hide them. In fact, I don't even have any. She's one of those type of people. I'm talking about Sophie. So totally different. Pia is definitely the go hard or stay home type of person. If she that night after she got put out, after her brother put her out of her mother's house, told her to get out and said, "Get out of my life." I'm like, dang, that was kind of harsh. I don't think it deserved that, but he was just very upset with her, and she was angry, so she went out dancing, partying. She's about to hook up with somebody, so she went to one of the date naps. She swiped left. She swiped right on somebody. I don't know whichever way you swipe for it to be good. They matched. And, she was getting ready to hook up with him, but then she dropped her phone in the toilet because, again, she's drunk. She's like, dang on it. So it cuts from that to her going home, putting that phone in rice, getting plastered. She takes some, I guess, yogurt or something and puts a pill on it and takes the pill like that, washes it down with some alcohol, washes some more alcohol down. I'm like, this girl is something. And then she masturbates to porn. And I'm like, girl, I know that life. Another life, not this life. I don't do that now. Another life. But anyway, so she's a wild child. But she was definitely hurt by what her brother had to say. And so she goes on to work, and she's still getting toe up. So I guess she's a phlebotomist or some type of nurse. She gets there, and the guy that she's about to see, her first patient, is a high school student, but he's infatuated with her. And I guess their thing is he'll show her some videos that he found interesting on the internet, and she'll pick which one she wants to see. Well, the video that they wound up seeing was the video of her brother, and it was a live stream saying that when it got to 5 million views, that he would die. And it says that he hurt women, he abused women. And she was like, oh my God, she couldn't believe what she was seeing. And mind you, the last time she saw him was at dinner with her mother, and they had an argument. So that's not good. So now she's starting to call around. First she calls him to see if it's a joke or something. He doesn't answer the phone. And so she starts calling around and, you know, calls his, she calls his wife's school to alert her, and, you know, but they wouldn't put the wife on the phone. She goes to his job to see if he's there. They said he was supposed to be there at 8 o'clock, but he missed his 8 o'clock appointment. So now she's going to the school where the wife works, and she's going to let her see the video that she saw. And then they go to the police together. The guy's kind of like, yeah, he's been gone for 11 hours. What's that mean? So they like, no, didn't you see the video? So basically the video is running up. Like 1 minute it said 9,000, then it said 300,000. So we already know this thing is about to go all the way through the roof. It's going to get to 5 million. Because why? Because Americans are trash. People on the internet are trash, and they want to see somebody die. So they're trash. Trash, trash, trash. And, you know, and let's see, I took notes because I didn't want to miss anything important. Let's see, Pia asked, when she, you know, Pia's going all over the place trying to get things done. And then at one point, Sophie calls her and she's like, did they find something? Did they find Nick? And when she said, would they find something? I was like, could she be a suspect? Find something like what? Because I'm thinking that Pia, you know, maybe she went on a binge and she got drunk and she was taking pills and she shouldn't have, and she had a trip and something happened and she told some people to do something to her brother. I don't know. I was just thinking all kinds of stuff because people on the internet was really mad about who actually did it. They was all wrong. So I'm trying to make sure I don't miss nothing. So, and another point, her and Pia and Sophie are at the police station and they leave out, and a reporter calls her and she's like, Sophie's reaction, just the way her nervousness going back and forth made me feel like maybe she's a suspect because she feeling like maybe they know it's her husband. Maybe she thought it was going to be a quiet thing. People wouldn't ever figure out who he was. I don't know. But her reaction made me feel like maybe she's a suspect. And then I thought about the little boy who actually showed Pia. I thought maybe he's a suspect because he's very much infatuated with her. And I held on to that because he would always have little nuggets for her, little nuggets. And you know, sometimes how the person who did it, they give you just enough to keep you coming back for more. I said he could be it too. So I'm looking at everybody, okay? And let's see. And they got to 5 million before the end of the first episode. The first shit, it was already been moved by. Yeah, they so the little boy, he actually came up with some information because I guess he opened up a support or something on the internet. But that's why I was thinking, he got something to do with it because it's an internet crime, right? And so they was basically trying to figure out where he was. They was looking at the actual surroundings and the scenery to see if they could determine where Nick was being held. And they figured out it was in a certain type of truck. But when they got a hit on the actual truck, by the time they got there, he was gone. And so the next actual episode was about the detective. The detective is actually the guy that she saw on the dating app that she was going to hook up with. So I don't know why they gave him a whole section because to me, he wasn't a suspect. And there was never a point where I thought he was a suspect. But maybe one time when he was the first time he went to the woods and he acted like he knew where he was going with the flashlight, I thought, what does he know that we don't know? But that wasn't the case. But they did show that he's Muslim and that he had tried to become a detective a couple of times in the homicide department and they wouldn't take him. In the homicide unit. So he definitely, that's his aspiration. His family felt like it was because he was a Muslim. He was beginning to feel that way. He felt like the senior detectives in homicide didn't respect him because he was Muslim. And I think because of that, he walked around with a chip on his shoulder. And I guess you could call it paranoia a little bit, but I can't really say what it's like to be a Muslim in that type of job, because I could see where the discrimination would be high in the police department. I can definitely see that with a Muslim, because, you know, we've got the smartest people as cops. None of them are racist or bigots or xenophobics or any of that. Anyway, so... okay, and so they decide to get Sophie to make a plea to the public, you know, basically to help her find a husband and to bring him home safely. And the way when she was talking, Pia was at the door, and it made me feel like Pia was definitely a suspect because of the way she was listening and the whole way they had her looking. And I now know that they have people do these things and look certain ways, suspicious and little stuff, just to keep you going and keep you thinking, who could it be? Who is the John? Moving forward. So the next person that we looked at was Sophie, the wife, which should have been the first person because that's the way it is in real time. But anyway, we're gonna look at Sophie. Sophie, basically Miss Perfect, Miss Everything Must Be, you know, perfect. She wasn't perfect. She was cheating and everything. She had a whole affair on her husband. I was so mad when I found out she had an affair. But then she went and got some brown meat, and I understood because I used to be married to a white man. See what I'm saying? I used to be married to a white man, and sometimes, no. But I was mad at her because I stuck it out. I didn't break my vows. She broke her vows, and I didn't respect that at all. It's like you take the vows, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Things ain't perfect, and you just gonna have to deal with it. You should have thought about that before you said, I do. If you don't, you shouldn't have said I do. So I was very, very upset with her. As a woman, you don't do that. That's just my opinion. Like, my friends know, don't tell me if you cheat. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'm going to chastise you. Well, she did it, and I was very upset. And then I kind of wanted her to be the one to kill them because I'm like, I want you to pay for that. Who are you? You know? But then I found out she told him. I'm like, oh, well, shoot. She told him. I mean, she ain't as bad as I thought she was. I thought he died or he got kidnapped and everything and not knowing. Because, you know, they found his body at this point. I didn't mention that. That was in the second episode. So they ain't waste no time to get the 5 million. And they didn't waste no time to find his body. So I did like that about the series. So I'm kind of going to be a little bit all over the place. But I'm sorry. I'm trying. But I made a lot of notes and all of them ain't important. So I'm just trying to make sure it flows. But anyway, so the wife. So she wound up cheating with somebody she was working with. And they're going to lie about it. Like, why would you lie? Don't you know these are the police? They going to find out. They going to find out. She going to say it was just a colleague. No, y'all had a whole months-long relationship for some months is what you said. So, and you broke it off because he was falling in love and you was a whole married woman and you didn't want that. You just wanted to get, you know, some excitement in your life. Instead of talking to your husband, you decided to go get it outside the house. But we're not going to talk about that. Your husband decided to forgive you, so who am I to be mad at you, right? I'm sorry, Sophie. Well, dude, you know, once you told your husband wanted me to do now, and he want to know every little single detail about y'all's little affair. So did he kill him? Because he couldn't have you, because he fell in love with you, and you broke it off with him. So did he kill him? Now they done locked him up. You know, they ain't brought him in for questioning. Why? But when they brought him in for questioning, you there. Why are you there? Why are you there? You just told on yourself. I was like, girl, you can't be that damn doggone bright. Because when Pia figured out that she didn't have an affair, oh my God, they was having that shout match. And the only thing I really wish would have happened in this series, more fist fights. People needed to fight. That should have been a fight. If that was my brother's wife and he was kidnapped and murdered, and I found out she had an affair and they just took the dude in that she had an affair with, oh, we about to fight. We about to scrap, honey. I'm taking names later. I'm taking yes right now. You know, so yeah, I thought it was going to be, they was going to come to blows. That never happened. That never happened. So, so let's see. He winds up getting out because he had an alibi and video footage of him not being anywhere near where he should have been if he was really the one that kidnapped Nick. So he was let off as a suspect, and the wife was they kind of looked away from her. And in the process of this, you know, her sons figured out that she had an affair and then ran off. And we got the introduction of Emma. Emma, we found out was his mistress, was Nick's mistress. Well, that's what she told Sophie. She said, and you imagine she's 10 karat crazy. No, 24 karat crazy. 24 karat crazy. You know, one of them people. She's one. I'm sorry. If you're one of those people, I love you. Okay. Take your medicine. So basically she meets this guy on the internet, and it's Nick, and they're having this whole relationship, and she's, we see him at her house, we see them having sex, and we see all of this, and we like, oh wow. So he's a whole ass. We knew she was crazy, but I said, well, maybe he like him crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because she was crazy, and clearly they was together. He was sending her pictures, photoshopped of her and him together on the beach and whatnot. And she was thinking it was so cute. Well, you should have just been there with them. Wouldn't you say, well, why don't you just come? Yeah, we in the same state. Why don't you just drive down here and we meet up? But I guess he was never able to do that because they never really had any pictures together. But let's see. I'm just looking through my notes to make sure I'm not getting too far off base. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so Emma, she catches Emma at the house. She sees Emma at the house when she's leaving. Sophie does. And at one point, Emma, basically follows her to the skate park because she's looking for Ethan. Ethan is her oldest son. And he's the one that ran off after he realized that she had an affair on his father. So she's looking, and she's about to get in her truck. She's on the phone, so let me call you back. And she sees her standing across the street. Imagine she done talked herself into getting out of the car and everything. And so she walks over. She's like, hey, stop this car. Stop this car. You open this, let this window down. I was like, whew, she got me scared. She done had Sophie, done had enough. She's like, why are you following me? You was in my house. Are you a journalist? So she basically says, hi. My name is Emma, and I was in a relationship with your husband. What? And so, of course, Sophie ain't buying it. She's like, no, we met on the dating site. He was then, he tied. He was this, he was that, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, no, you can go on with all of that. And so she leaves, and she tells Pia. Pia's like, BS. My brother wouldn't do that. And she tells her what site and what his name was, and they look it up. Bam, he's right there. Ooh, what does this mean? Well, see, she's like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And so they looking around, come to find out he had a whole lot of women, a whole lot of accounts, a whole lot of dating sites. And what he would do is he'll meet a woman on one site, and they go to the next site, and they go to the next site, next site, next site, next site. Imagine when they had him holding up these signs, one of the signs said, I killed a woman. And we was like, dang, did he really kill? Does he live in that kind of double life where he's out here killing women too? And then I immediately thought, well, if he's seeing all these different women on all these different sites, changing his identity each time, maybe it was a suicide killing. But the person who was kidnapped him is making him say that. And I thought that immediately because it didn't make any sense for a womanizer to be out here really killing women. Like just one woman or a whole lot of women. You know what I'm saying? So it just didn't, those two didn't make sense. And me being a screenwriter, I'm always looking for holes in the story. I just say I can't say I did not figure this one out. I'm going to let you know that. Spoiler, I did not figure this one out. So, let's see. Emma, she really was determined to indoctrinate herself into the entire situation. So she wound up staying out there way longer than she should have until she got an actual threat to leave town because her presence was doing more harm than good. And she did try to, it was so funny. She said, 911, I just got a threatening call. She's looking out the window. That girl played her role. If I ever need somebody like that in one of my movies, I'm going to see if I can get her because she was very, very good at what she did. That girl she did good. But yeah, very entertaining to me. I didn't like when she got ran off the road. I felt like she should have been left, but I knew it was something wrong with her. So, she had to do what she had to do. And then when it came to look like, I was starting to think that it was his partner at school. Because every time, some of the girls on the little volleyball team wanted to speak to different people, and he would always come in and intercept, like, nope, you need to go on over there, Jen. Nope, nope, nope. She ain't no comments. Nope, 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 nope. He wouldn't let her talk to nobody. And I'm like, what are they hiding? And then it comes out that maybe he was having an affair with one of the girls, because it's what the girl said. And, you know, I mean, they just throwing this man all kind of under the buses. And, you know, some people was on his side. Other people was like, he's a monster. He did it. Blah, blah, blah. He deserves it. They're going to cut his balls off. They were just saying all kind of stuff. And, of course, the kids could read all of that. It was just a whole big mess. So, one of the reporters, the one who broke the story, he was just like, really, they did a whole chapter on him. And like, maybe he was the one. And I'm like, well, he broke the story. Let me see. Well, he was a little sweet boy. He had a little boyfriend. And, you know, he was very ambitious. And he felt like that most of the stories was going to one of his female colleagues. And he wanted to actually get a good story so that he could actually be, on primetime news. And so he really went hard at this story. And he went so hard that he was breaking the law. He broke into Sophie's house. He broke it into, a lot of places. He did a lot, and I didn't like him at all. And I was glad that his boyfriend left him. He said, you do realize that there are other people on the other side of your stories. And he was just like, oh, well, this is life. This business is blah, blah, blah. Well, it's people in the journalistic business that don't have to do all of that. They don't. So you were wrong. You were wrong. You were wrong. And I don't care what you say. But he was ruthless, and he basically opened up the can of worms. He figured out who it was that died, went to their house, stole her phone, got her messages, and it made it look like Nick was even more of a monster. Basically, this girl was crazy too. I said, he got a thing for crazy ones, don't he? This one was crazy too and suicidal. So when he tried to break it off with her, she done killed herself. And that's why, I guess her brother read her messages and was like, hold on, who is this person? So he went on a mission. He went on a mission. And the reporter almost got killed because he almost got caught in dude's apartment because he broke in. He looked under the mat, saw the key, and let himself in. I was like, oh my God, if I didn't have a flat screen, if I had one of them old console TVs, I'd have threw a shoe at it. And I feel like it's not even right that they make these TVs so flimsy. Like back in the day, you could throw a skillet at a TV and it wouldn't break. But now, you can't even throw an ink pen at a doggone TV without it slitting up. It's crazy. I don't understand it. Maybe that's why they make them so cheap, so you can just go on back to the store and buy another one. I don't know. But... So, Simon was very, very crazy. They did a chapter on him, the brother of the girl. And basically, he was semi-obsessed with his sister, not in a way that he wanted to be with her, but in a way that he was obsessed with her survival and her happiness. And so when he realized that she was probably seeing somebody, he got nervous because he knows that she's an unstable creature. And when when he realized that person actually assisted her in taking her own life, it became his mission to hunt that person down, which he did, which was Nick. And, he's the one that kidnapped him. He's the one that drug him and everything. And so I was like, well, I can't say that I would, have done anything different if that was my sister, because how dare you say, go ahead and do it. I don't care. And she loved you. Oh, my God. I said, that's a monster. That's a monster. So Simon, he gets himself caught up. They lock him up or whatever. And he says, I want to talk to Pia because, he done had a whole conversation with Nick. And Nick told him, he said, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. It was not me. I did not do it. I'm like, what is he talking about? Why don't you just admit it? We got all this evidence on you. And Abby, daggone, it wasn't him. Somebody was catfishing using his pictures. And we done seen that 1,000,000 times on MTV. I don't know why I didn't think somebody catfishing this dude. Because these women talking about they in love with him. So clearly you've met him. Clearly you've talked to him. Y'all FaceTime. Y'all done something in this day and age of technology. Like, how do you be talking to somebody for months and ain't heard their real voice, seen them, like, on a video chat? Like, I don't understand that. You got Zoom. If you ain't got FaceTime. If there's Duo. Like, there's no reason, no excuse for these types of situations. But nonetheless, he told her that he believed him because he was able to convince him that it wasn't him by basically one of the pictures when they photoshopped it, the horizons didn't line up. And so that's how he knew that it was all a prank. And so he wound up letting him go. And, but he basically knew a lot about Nick and his marriage and everything. He was like, well, I only told one person about that. So of course, when they let him go, he goes to that person's house. Now, let me back up just a little bit because they did do a whole chapter on his son, because I thought maybe his son might have been a suspect too, because he kept on talking to Al 2005, and Al's talking about, I can keep your secrets, I'll never tell, you can trust me, and all of this stuff. And I'm like, Al 2005? Who is that? And it was a computer person. And so it wound up being Allison, and that was one of his little computer friends. And, you know, of course, Pia made sure that, she's like, you done met this person, ain't you? He was like, yes. And then he thought about it, was like, maybe I'm getting catfish, you know. So he goes to meet her, and, you know, everything was cool. He gets home, and they still talking or whatever, and he's nervous about, did you like me? And she like, did you like me? And she had anxiety issues too. I guess him and his daddy know how to pick them crazy ones. But anyway, she had anxiety, and I got anxiety, so I guess I'm crazy too. But anyway, she had anxiety, so I thought it was really cute the way they met. And you know, she was sending him messages. Imagine, she's a computer geek too. So she's actually helping him investigate who may have actually taken his father. So while he's downstairs, a message comes through. His brother gets the message, his little brother. And he's like, oh, okay. Because the message is like, this is where the messages was coming from. So basically, they found the house that was actually catfishing people. IP addresses and stuff like that. So the little brother was like, uh-huh. So he grabbed a baseball bat and he gonna leave it. He gonna go get them people. So I'm like, you big dummy. Because it never ends well for kids when they try to take matters into their own hands. Like, why would you even do that? Like, get your butt back here. You ain't even the oldest brother. Why are you trying to go handle anything? You meddling, first of all. I wanted to get Kai. I did. So, it turns out that the person that was doing all the catfishing was somebody that you know, Nick worked with. It was an older lady. Now, mind you, this chick had like 3 scenes in the movie. I mean, 3 scenes in the series altogether. Like, who would have thought it was her? Like, what kind of whodunit is this? Like, I would have appreciated more if it was the Pia's patient, the little boy that was in high school. I would have appreciated that because he had more to do with the storyline. But it's this chick being bored, and basically she got us thinking that it's his colleague, the dude. We found out that he done had a whole relationship with one of the girls, and the other girl that's running her mouth about Nick only found out about it and wanted the girl to tell on his friend, and she would not do it. And that's why they was yelling. But she assumed that it was Nick that she was dealing with. No, honey. Now you got all of this stuff started. You got all these people think all this stuff about Nick, and it wasn't even true. And this old lady with her boring self, she's the reason that Nick died, because Nick came to her house like, how could you? How could you? You catfished me. You took all my pictures and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I'm going to the police and I'm telling him. And then here come my husband. Bop, bop, bop. And blunt force trauma, that's what killed Nick. You know, and she was just very apologetic or whatever. And, you know, kind of crazy. She said she was bored. She was, you know, lonely. How you lonely and you got a whole husband? That's what I don't get. That's what I don't get. How are you lonely and got a whole husband? You could have went to the bar. You could have went to bingo. You could have done anything than to be sitting up on the computer dealing with people like that. Fooling women. And she's the one that typed them messages for that girl to kill herself. So she was the monster. And the reason she did it is because she got busted. She was in there talking to one of them. And then here come her husband, like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, nothing. I was talking to Diane and blah, blah, blah. He was like, come to bed. So they go to bed and she starts getting frisky with him because now she's all excited because she just had this conversation and is doing something for her adrenaline or whatever. So now she want to have sex with her husband. And they have sex or whatever. He's like, would you like some water? And she's like, yeah. And she's just laying there looking all nasty. And he goes in and she hears him on the computer, and she hears messages coming through, and so she hops up out of the bed as quick as she could, and he's like, what is this? What is this? You're sick. You're sick. So he realized what she'd been doing. And she was like, I told you I was going to stop. But he was like, no, you ain't stopped. He said, I ain't going to jail for you. And he left. So at that moment, your girl was like really trying to reach out to him. He was like, I don't care. Kill yourself. I don't care. Do it. I don't care. And so that's how that happened. And so when Cat gets over there to the house, he sees that it's the counselor. He's like, wait a minute, what are you doing here? And he was like, oh, he tried to play it off, but he put his bat down. I'm like, boy, you should have took that bat on in there. But as soon as he walked in and she looked at her husband, I knew right then. I said, oh, they about to try to do something to this boy. And so they basically questioned him to see who knew where he went. And they was going to take him to the woods and they was going to kill him. And they took him and put him in a car. And he's sitting there looking all nervous. And he goes to pull out his phone and making all of this damn noise. She snatches his phone, throws it out the window. And I'm like, oh, my God, no, you didn't. To see if I was him, what I would have done is I would have started choking the driver. See, we all going to die. We all going to die. What I'm not going to let you do is drive me off into the woods to do with me what you want to. That's what I'm not going to damn do. I'm going to choke you. You going to wreck. And I'm going to run. That's how this is going to happen right here. But of course, if that happened, we wouldn't have no movie. So, but the other thing that made me mad about Kyle with his grown self, because he want to do things on his own, he gets there, they get to the location, and dude stops the car, opens the door, says, get out. He's pointing a gun at him. Why would you get out to let him take you somewhere else to kill you? Because now there's going to be no blood evidence in his vehicle. That's not how you do it. That is not how you do it. If somebody tells you, if they got a gun to your head and they tell you to walk, no, you better not. They're going to kill you. Make it as easy for the police as you can. You make sure that they kill you right there. You hold on, you kick him, you fight him, you scratch him, you bite him. You do whatever you can to make him kill you right there in the car. Because you're going to die anyway. Ain't no use in you thinking you're going to save your own life, because you're not. You are not going to be able to save your own life, okay? So listen to me. But, of course, Kai didn't. He gets to walking or whatever. And lo and behold, this is how it all goes down. The father winds up getting murdered by the police and blah, blah, blah. The wife runs over to him and blah, 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 blah. Kai comes home safe. And that basically is the story. It was the lady in the office. Her most prominent line was, honey, sugar, they don't pay me to be here before 9 o'clock. That was her most notable line. And I should have thought right then, oh, she got a smart mouth. She probably got something to do with it, because I was doing everybody else like that. I don't know why I ain't look at her, because she didn't have nothing else really. I mean, she was at the funeral and it was like maybe one other place and that was it. And I was like, that was crap. That was crap. So if you ever do a whodunit and you want to film it or whatever, and you want to get people talking, at least make it somebody that's intricate in the doggone storyline. Like, that was, I was disappointed. I was not happy. I thought it was stupid. And that's just that on that. I know I missed some stuff, but I covered the most in the gist of it for a limited series. So I'm going to stop it pretty much right here. And I'm going to say, I'm not mad that I watched it, but I do not like that lazy stuff. And to me, that was a lazy way to end it. Because it was making everybody look like they was guilty, and it was one person that really didn't have nothing to do with the story. To me. And I could be wrong. Maybe I thought that was so profound. I didn't find it profound. I found it annoying. That's just me. But that's my $5.02. And I do thank you for watching. Peace.